Okay, so I had to make this because things are getting really serious. The first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California has posted, if you approach law enforcement with a gun, there is a high likelihood they will be legally justified in shooting you. Don't do it. Here's his Wikipedia. He was appointed by Donald Trump, so he's part of that group. The government is saying that if you have a gun on you, it's likely you will be killed if you're around federal agents. I don't see what's American about this at all. This is tyranny. We have a Second Amendment. Let's see over here. The NRA did respond saying this sentiment from the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California is dangerous and wrong. Responsible public voices should be awaiting a full investigation, not making generalizations and demonizing law-abiding citizens. We have here Homeland Security. Listen to this.
The gun, and at what point did law enforcement retrieve the gun and also the magazines from him? Can you offer clarity on
this individual showed up to impede a law enforcement operation and assaulted our officers. They responded according to their training and took action to defend the officer's life and those of the public around him. And I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up with a gun and ammunition rather than a sign. This is a violent riot when you have someone showing up with weapons and are using them to assault law enforcement officers.
All lies. First of all, what are we talking about? Never heard of someone showing up with a gun at a protest and being peaceful. That happens all the time. And what about all the protests? What about all the MAGA protests where people have long rifles? You know, and no one gets killed. They don't shoot, and the cops don't shoot them. Years and years ago, long time ago, I was in a tea party with my father and my brother, and we all had long rifles on us, and there were police with us, and no one got shot, and it was peaceful, and that was all completely legal. It's within our rights. Clear. Also, I mean, he did not assault. There was no brandishing of the weapon. That's not in the video. And in the video, I mean, it was holstered the whole time. And here they are yanking at it, pulling it out. He's on his hands and knees. And then they take it. The gun's gone. They pull it out of his holster. And then this guy pulls his gun out and executes him. He was not a threat, and he gets executed. And we're being told, well, if you have a gun, that's probably going to happen to you. What just happened? And then we have people defending this, saying, well, he shouldn't have been there. Keep in mind, ICE is going into people's neighborhoods. Sometimes they just end up like, and you have a right. It doesn't matter. You have a right. But we have ICE coming into your neighborhood. So now you're at risk of being killed? I thought the whole point is it was supposed to make us safe. So this is extremely concerning. And then here's on Truth Social. So this is Donald Trump's social media website. And here's his account in this post. This is the gunman's gun loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What is all that about? What do you mean, what is that all about? I used to carry in the house. I used to always have my sidearm on me and a extended magazine as well. All the time. And of course it was loaded. You don't carry a gun and not have it loaded. What's the point? This is ridiculous. This is extremely anti-American. This is tyrannical. This is full-on tyranny. And then we have them lying here to cover it up. Here's everything ICE has done this week. Just this week. A 23-year-old U.S. citizen was taken by ICE while entering her apartment complex. She was assaulted and given a concussion during the arrest. The agents used racial slurs while taking her in, and despite proving her U.S. citizenship, she was held for 2 days before being released without charges. Remember when we were told, you know, they're not going to be going after Americans? This is, you know, oh, this is fine because they're just going after the illegals. Wrong. Again, the guy who was pulled out of his home, he was in his underwear. outside. That's breaking the Fourth Amendment. And he was a U.S. citizen. They were wrong. The list is extensive. The list is extremely long. It's all crimes. So, I mean, in this video, we see the First and Second Amendment being broken. He was recording, and that's what started this whole thing. You have a First Amendment right to record law enforcement officers. And then they violated his Second Amendment by disarming him and shooting him. And shooting him just because he was using a Second Amendment. And when I say using a Second Amendment, I don't mean waving his gun around. He had a concealed carry permit. He was legal. No criminal background. That's the other funny thing too about the DHS video. They talked about how he was a criminal. He didn't have a driver's license. He had like a domestic abuse history. He has no criminal record at all. Why is DHS saying this stuff? This is extremely concerning. Everything that this administration is doing is illegal, right down to Greenland. So we have a ton of illegal insider trading going on by the people in this administration. So when they mention invading Greenland, the stock market tanked because of that. Well, these people are putting stop and put options on the markets. And that's basically betting that the market's going to crash. Then they'll say crap like that to make it crash. Then they make money. And then, of course, change their mind. Oh, we're not going to do it. Then the markets recover. There's more stop and put options that they use to make money off of that. And everyone's just defending this nonsense. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are coming to me and saying it's great. Anyway, I just had to make this video. This is extremely concerning. This right here should have everyone very concerned. You know, right here again, I know that, they're violating the Second, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. It prohibits officers from shooting citizens merely for possessing a weapon that is not an imminent threat. He was not an imminent threat. Anyway, I'm pretty hyped up here. If you are watching this and you think that I'm liberal, you have lost your freedom of thought and you're in a hive mind. You need to wake up, start thinking, making your own decisions, and admit that Trump was a mistake and it's extremely corrupt. Everything, if you look into everything, you'll find corruption in it. This is not a godly man. This is not he doesn't care about America. He's destroying the economy and making money off of it for himself and all of his billionaire friends. But on top of that, now they're out in the streets killing us. So this is the worst administration we've ever had. He's the worst president we've ever had. I don't want to hear anything about Sleepy Joe, or COVID lockdowns. They didn't have federal agents out in the streets murdering Americans and then defending it. That's happening now under this guy. And he doubles down and is defending it. He is a tyrannical asshole who should be removed from office. And he's probably going to try and stop the midterms. Probably going to, by any means necessary. Just wait. There's going to be more. There's going to be like the Insurrection Act or something. And he's going to try and hold off the midterms. Hopefully I'm wrong. But we sure are going in that direction.